Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Haunted New England Tour. Today we are going up to Brenton, New Hampshire to the Omni Mount Washington Resort and Hotel. This hotel is over 120 years old. It was built in 1902 by Joseph Stickney. And in the process of building it, he would add a lot of wonderfully luxurious things. We think probably for his wife, Carolyn. Such things as an indoor swimming pool and a private dining room. Then, unfortunately, Joseph dies in 1903 upon the hotel's completion, or maybe a little bit after. Before we get into the hauntings, I'll go into a few of the other historical events that happened in the hotel. So this hotel has played host to 3 American presidents. I could not find their names: Thomas Edison and the Vanderbilt family. In 1944, the Omni Hotel would also play host to the Brenton Woods International Monetary Conference, which saw 44 representatives of different countries come together to create the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. The organizations were signed into existence in the famous Gold Room. Now, let's go back to the Stickney family, because Caroline, after Joseph's death, retains ownership of the hotel. And she does so up until her death. However, Caroline does not stay in New Hampshire. She meets and marries at some point a French prince by the name Armand Jean-Baptiste Marie Fessigny Lusange. I will have pronunciations for you and the names as well here on the screen and then in the description. And because of that, she would go to live with her husband in France, but she would also come back every summer to the hotel, and she would do so up until the prince's death. And the prince died, I believe, I don't know if I ever found the date for his death, but when he passes, Caroline comes back to live at the hotel. Now, why does that matter? Well, because the suite that she lived in, Room 314, the Princess Suite, is the most haunted suite in the hotel, and it is believed that Caroline's ghost still stays in this room. Guests have woken up to see a woman sitting on the edge of the bed, combing her hair. Other descriptions have said she's unpinning it, taking it down from one of her updos. They've smelled perfume wafting throughout the rooms of the hotel, not just in 314, but they will also witness her about the hotel. She owned it. She probably went everywhere. They will also hear voices, I believe, in the room. The room and also other rooms in the hotel, especially in the South Tower or the Tower Suites, bathtubs will turn on and will fill themselves. Lights go on and off on their own. You'll hear footsteps. Sometimes staff reports that the atmosphere is so charged that the hallways are actually uncomfortable to walk through. On the 3rd floor, where I would assume room 314 is, there is an image of a lady that is seen walking the floors. Some describe her as a white woman or a lady in white. Others say that she is finely dressed in Victorian attire. This is believed to be Carolyn Stickney as well. There are also some speculations that she is the one that, because there will be reports of knocking on doors, very light knocks, and then when people go to open the door, no one's there. So they're not sure if it's maybe people like former servants, for like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not servants. What's the word I'm looking for? The people that former employees that used to work in the hotel that are doing it, or if it is indeed Caroline checking in on her guests to make sure that they're doing well. Because what ends up happening is people go to open the door and there's no one there. Although some have caught glimpses of a woman either standing at the door or wafting down the hall. So now, these hauntings aren't just confined to room 314. She does move around. There will also be reports of thumping and banging coming from the ballroom or the dining room rather, I'm sorry. And then there will also be reports of music spontaneously playing all on its own in the ballroom. Taps out of Rhode Island. If you've ever watched the show, it was on Discovery. I think versions of it might still be on Discovery and Discovery Plus. They're out of Rhode Island. they went in to investigate the hotel, and I have to look up and see. There will be a resource here from Taps on what episode it is if you want to go check it out. And on their tour, they found out that Caroline enjoyed traveling with her bed. So it would travel with her on the train up to Mount Washington, then to the hotel, and they would, set it back up. And it was a four-poster kind of canopy bed with white curtains. And the bed is still in the hotel. I don't know if it's still in her room or if it is relocated somewhere else, but her bed is still there. So there is some speculation as to whether or not this is a residual haunting or an intelligent haunting. The evidence that Taps caught would speculate that it's an intelligent haunting because they were having a conversation with a woman that they think is actually Caroline. Caroline, might be Caroline. I'm not sure. I've been saying Carolyn, but I think it might be Caroline. Didn't think of that when I was typing up the notes. Anyway, back to, what was I saying? Oh yes, the eternal conversation. For those of you that don't know, EVPs are considered electric voice phenomenon, and these are voices often that are caught on recorders, whether it's a tape recorder or digital recorder, that cannot be heard with the human ear. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes you can hear it with the human ear and you can hear it on the tape recorder. And the guys at Taps managed to actually have a conversation with Caroline. Are you still here? She's going, well, who are you? I'm here. Who are you? So there is some speculation that she is still there. At least maybe she drifts in and out. Another haunted location, which was thought to be a room off I believe the dining room, where people would hear thumps and whatnot. And there's a wall in this room that has all the signatures of past employees to which the Taps crew signed their names. Now, they kind of partially debunked this because this room is only for employees only and it's kept locked. So, however, they did discover that during the investigation, you can hear people walking around, you can hear people moving. So they think that might have been the cause of a lot of the thumping and bumping that people were hearing. However, there is some kind of, to me, there's a little bit of a question mark, because what happens if there's no one in that room and people are hearing this? Is it just, so it could be both. It could be a little bit of both. It could be that sometimes it's people, sometimes it's spirits. You never can tell. When they were up where the south, I think it's either the South Tower or Tower Suites, this is where the employees used to live. I don't know if employees are still given the option to live there or if they're open, rooms that are open to the public. They did catch the sounds of footsteps up and down the hall. And, they were in different locations. So there is activity at the hotel. What is kind of comforting to know, though, is that generally people do not feel threatened by this haunting. It seems to be a very benevolent haunting where the former owner and maybe the former employees that are still there are still taking care of the guests today, want to make sure they're having a nice time and that they are properly taken care of. So if you should go to visit the Omni Mount Washington Hotel, keep out an ear and an eye and a nose, for that matter, to see if you encounter Carolyn Stickney or maybe other spirits that roam the halls. But just know that if you wake up to the middle of the night of a soft tap on the door, know that it might just be Caroline checking in to make sure you're okay. So my friends, until we meet again, take care. Bye. Ghosts have woken up.